Testo. Testo. Oh, Maz, good to see you. You2 username. Bacon Cat. Is that an alt account of someone? I feel like I've seen that name in a dream. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. It's been a minute, and I forgot how to press the go live button. Like, just a few seconds ago, I forgot. I was struggling with it. Give me just a sec. I'm gonna post in the Discord in case anybody is in there that was waiting. Have y'all been? How have y'all been? For those of you where it's starting to get warm, finally, hope you've been having a good summer. Or a good beginning of it. New week of summer begins. For those of you, I know, like, technically it's still a bit early to call it summer. Like, what, meteorologically? But here in the States, summer kind of just begins when Memorial Day passes. Not all, just been a bit since you've been able to join the live. Well, welcome back. It's also been a bit since I've been live, so I'm happy. I went live tonight that you were able to drop by. Doing good. I don't know if you saw. So yeah, I did see. Let's go check that out. I might have to bug you at some point with your experience with Steam. Let me pull this up. Oh, that's Steam DB. I want Steam itself. That's the discussion. Where's just the, Here it is. Store page. Episode 1. Let me pull this up in a window that shows up on stream. It's been pretty good. You made 342 drinks. What does that mean? Are you a bartender or are you in rehab? How do I do this? One sec. I'm gonna have to remember how to switch tabs. I think this is it. Here it is. Okay. Boom. Yeah, I'm stoked. Let me throw the link in the chats. In case anyone wants to check it out. Planned release date to be announced. Smart. Oh man. Yeah, learn my lesson. Just don't give dates out until it's done. Then you can give a date. One of the tips I got when it comes to like creating a story, and I don't know how good of a tip this is, but it's like, and this isn't like directly related, but just kind of similar. Don't give out like numbers to things, like how much damage does this magic do? Oh, it does a lot. It's like, oh, how many years ago was this Great War? Yeah, it was a bit ago. Because otherwise it's easier to write yourself into a corner. Have I ever mentioned that I work at a... Ooh, that's cool. I make the worst coffee. I buy, like, the coffee concentrate, and I just mix that in with milk. And you just got hit with an ad, I'm sorry. Unless you didn't. It doesn't always give it to people. But yeah, I'm stoked. I noticed that the lighting is different than last time. How much more has changed? Or do we have to wait to find out? Now I did. Oof. Dang, you got like animated, you got moving picture in your game description. You went all out. Pretty sick, pretty sick. So during the break, and a lot of it was like an unintentional break, mind you, It was more so anytime I'd planned to go live, something kind of happened to come up right around that time, and it was like just important enough and just last minute enough to where it's like, okay, I'll forego streaming tonight. I've still been doing a lot of work towards like getting my game done. Not a lot that is like super noticeable. So if I walk through what I have, you're really not going to tell much of a difference, if any, because a lot of what has been built out is stuff that A, will happen a little bit later, and B, I don't want to spoil it right now because I'm actually pretty excited about some of the stuff I've got. You're back, welcome back. I didn't say anything too fancy since you left. Besides, I've been working offline a bit, and nothing too much to show in the past few weeks I've been gone. I have something smaller I'm working on. We'll see if that becomes anything, but I'm excited. Ultimately, just a wave of inspiration hit me, and I'm riding that wave as far as it'll take me. 16 wish lists, nice. You've added a lot more gameplay, locations, lore, and stuff. I'm glad you're sticking to it. Excited to see... I'm most excited to see the difference between the two. To see kind of where you've improved. I think that's like one of the more exciting things about projects like this. That's how the best things happen. Yeah, exactly. And so even if that inspiration... The lighting here is weird, by the way. Let me... Don't worry about this. Oh, apparently that doesn't stop the buggy lighting. Okay. How do I change the engine scalability? I have a feeling it's because it's an Epic. If I set it to low, there we go. It fixes it a little bit. But yeah, like, for me, finding that inspiration just doesn't always, you know, it's not always easy to find it. So when it hits, I just kind of gotta ride it out for as much as I can. Mostly because even if it's not directly related to maybe even the thing I've been working on, just actively working on something, I think is just a healthier mindset. I feel like I'm more likely to go back and do more meaningful work on the stuff that I've been working on. Just if I'm actively, or if I'm consistently being active. Kind of like that one physics guy that said, an object in motion will stay in motion. He wasn't a therapist, but I'd like to pretend he is. I've heard that the floor is too shiny. That was a criticism I was getting with this Arctic sci-fi hallway. So, I am here to accept feedback on the shiny floor. That's what Newton said. Yeah. Smart dude. Not much has been added to this scene. I made this as a part of something else that, because I'm not sure if that will actually turn into anything, I think it's smarter for me just to not talk about it until like there is something worth showing. That was part of the massive inspiration that hit me that isn't directly related to this, but it's adjacent enough because it's still kind of game development. Floor is a little too shiny. Okay, I concede. That didn't take a lot of convincing. Let's go ahead and do this. Make it flat. And we will bump up the roughness a bit. There we go. It's got a little bit of shine on it, but it's more of like a scuff shine. If I remember how in the old version of your game, there was that room with all of the doors for each character, then I made it so you can go into most of them. Oh, that's cool. Master Convincer. Yeah, you should be a lawyer. That's all it takes, right? You just have to convince game developers, and then boom. That's much better. Okay. See? Audience participation. Audience participation. So, today, we're going to be working on the thing that I mentioned may or may not ever see the light of day, but it just happens to be the inspiration that hit me. Um, a lot of this still can, like, move over as well. So it's not like... we're going to make a tree. We're going to make foliage in Blender because I've been doing a lot of Blender stuff recently. And I think foliage, alongside character models, foliage is one of the things that I think is most intimidating to me. And it's... Oh, look at that. It's done. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining tonight. I hope you get... No, I'm kidding. There's a plugin. So let me explain kind of the research I've done thus far. There's a plugin... We'll just go and get rid of that. That exists to make trees. I got the plugin, and that's as much research as I've done. And I refuse to look at the documentation for the plugin. I've heard that it doesn't work if you're in Blender version like 5 or above. And I was kind of scared until I realized that I'm in version 4.4. So maybe there have been some other tools along the way in the newer Blender versions that would have helped me thus far. But on the plus side, I've got plans. I've got some plans now. To give you all a reference of what my reference is, something like this, now not particularly this type of setting, but like interior type of plants, like, but not something small, something big that's mostly meant to be decorative. So like that tree I made a second ago might have been a bit too tall. Like maybe that's close to what this is here. I don't know why that's the black marker. But I would like to see if I can make something like that. The pot itself I can probably do, and the soil itself is also probably easy enough to do. But like the leaves and the branches are a little bit more challenging, at least to do on my own. So we're going to try to play around with that tool a little bit and see, even though it creates the tree on its own instantly, I feel like there's still enough that we can mess around with for the next hour or so to take up the time. Because I'm going to use Substance Painter to texture it and then throw that into Unreal Engine to see how it looks in action. A couple other things I did want to mention real quick is talking about the difference in quality when it comes to Unreal Engine itself. So this is, I mean, I guess I should just mention, this is just a lamppost, right? There's nothing secretive about this that I made. And here we're in scalability low. And so if I play from here, you can still see, like, maybe you can see some of the rougher edges on it. But for the most part, it still looks pretty good. And this is the lowest scalability setting that we can attain here in Unreal Engine 5. Now, the reason I bring that up is a lot of games, particularly a lot of indie horror games, are trying to emulate kind of that older either VHS look or polygonal look. And usually they just apply filters over their base game. When I imported the same thing into Unreal Engine 4 and also just dropped the scalability to low, I think it just looked better. Like from that that low poly, like low quality type of video game feel. So if we go here, this is just like naturally, and it might be a little bit more difficult to tell with the stream because the stream is going to soften some of these corners a bit. But here, especially if you look at the details in the back where those pillars are, especially like if you can see my cursor in the middle, like right there, I think this is a much more authentic old video game look. And you don't need to apply any filters or anything. It's just how the engine itself is presenting, even doing the best it can on the lowest setting. So, just wanted to throw that out there. I thought that was cool. The reason I bring that up is if there are any developers that kind of want to make an old video game or an old looking video game, and you want like a truly authentic feel, maybe explore working in Unreal Engine 4. I know we're about to get into Unreal Engine 6, and maybe there are some settings you can tweak in Unreal Engine 5 that can do this just as easily. But I don't know. I like how this looks from an old game type of perspective. I feel like it's a little bit more authentic. Maybe there's a way to do an Unreal Engine 5. It's not really something it's not something I've done a deep dive in, but just thought it'd be worth mentioning. Like Lethal Company, yeah. Where is the tree? Okay, we'll bring the tree back. We'll bring the tree back. I know y'all have been waiting for it. Oh no, it's gone. Oh no, it's gone. It's breached containment. Hold on, we can fix this. You caught me. I always use VHS shaders. So how do those look? Because like I watch InSim a lot, and there's a lot. I like the look. I like the old video game, Fears to Fathom type look. But I'm curious what the VHS shader is compared to like the engine authentically struggling. Let's see. So with this plugin, and I guess I should say what the plugin is. The plugin is called, I think it's called like Sapling? Sapling Tree Gen. It is a built-in plugin if you go to get extensions and the preferences. You guys can't see that window, but that's what it's called. And then if you go to Curve, Sapling Tree Gen, and then Show Leaves, there it is. So, pretty quick and easy, and then there's a lot of settings that we'll toy around with here in a second to get a little bit closer to that smaller shrub that we're working on a moment ago. Pretty crispy. They're super easy to add in Godot. I could show a video of your other game so you could see it. Yeah, that'd be sick. I can't imagine it's too hard to make your game look old. But since I've never actually tried, it's not really something worth saying. Plugin would have been useful for you 6 months ago. Yeah, see, that's the thing with Blender. It's like there's almost always a tool that will do what I'm trying to do. And I had to look around for this for a while because it doesn't. It lost support like as a version 4.0 or something, and people report a lot of bugs with it. But even if you go to like Blender Sapling Tree Gen, like its extension page, and I can go ahead and pull this up, is like a ghost town. ArtV. It's got 18 reviews. It was published in 2024 for version 3.7, and you have like 3 people that reviewed it, all saying that it sucks. I think it's good. I toyed around with it a little bit. It does have over 200,000 downloads though, so maybe it's like tribal knowledge and a lot of people like it. Pretty good licensing too, which is always good. Let's go ahead and go back to Blender. So again, the reference image that I'm trying to make, something like this guy down here, that like low to the ground shrub, not a lot of branches going upward, but mostly just kind of spreading out closer to the ground there. I don't know what a lot of these settings do. We're going to learn together. So this, okay, this changes Base, middle, top. Okay, so this just changes, I guess, the number of branches. You did add some shaders in your other game that I've been working on, definitely. But whenever I add shaders, I use an RGB displacement shader and scan lines and a wobble filter. One of the things I notice about the scanline filter that I use is that do scanlines not actually move vertically? I always thought they did. And so when I made my scanline filter, that's how I made them move. But then every video I see, every game I see, they're always just like in the same place. And I don't know if this is like a Mandela effect where I'm remembering this thing incorrectly. Oh, okay, this is kind of closer. The issue is it's like moving more of them to the bottom by just like bending them, which isn't what I want. Conical? What is this? This does nothing. What does this do? The shape of secondary splits. Do you guys notice a difference? Maybe I just don't have enough splits. They do technically, but they move upwards so fast that only a camera can see it, not our own slow eyeballs. Oh. So what is this for? It's for in it's for like an interior decoration. Oh no. There was a there's an AI that rolled up on Twitch. I gotta deal with this one sec. Not the clankers. But back to answering the question, what is this for? The main game I'm working on is a like the first part takes place in uh, a research facility underground, and I'm like, this could be a prop for like decoration in like a lobby or something for that. If I want to have like uh, a garden section, which is like something else outdoors, I could use that for this. The actual reason I'm building this right now is part of like this other project I'm working on that I don't know if it's ever going to see the light of day because it's kind of like a wave of inspiration hit me to make a thing. And it's like, well, if I talk about it and it doesn't end up becoming reality, then it might kind of be for nothing. Especially since I've got another big project that I've been streaming recently. Oh no, I can't ban the clanker from this tool because I opened it after he showed up. Hold on. Ban unimportant comedian and then a bunch of random letters. Okay. Unimportant. Boom, he's gone. Let's see. Another random thing in my game is gonna have 2D animated bits. Oh, cool. Yeah, I feel like the more kind of just not random, but just unique things like that you add to a game, the more memorable it is to a lot of folk. Okay. Oh, whoa, presets. What is this? Ooh, okay, these are all pretty big. Oh, okay. Douglas fir. Uh, Japanese maple. Aspen. A small maple? Small pine. A weeping willow. Isn't that the tree from Harry Potter? White birch. Willow. None of these are what I want. So let's go back. I've been seeing these live streams for 2 years. I've almost no idea how the game plays. Oh, don't worry, you and me both. Nah, a lot of the time I've spent has been just like learning how to make games, and ultimately just having fun with it. A lot of the stuff that I built initially, I had to go back and redo. Best examples like the AI behavior that I made, or like the interaction system. So like this past year was me going back and completely reworking all of that. The issue that I had with the old design is that the more I tried to add on to it, the longer and longer it took, because when I made the first design for it, I wasn't thinking at scale. And what I mean by that is I wasn't thinking of how can I use this thing in like any number of ways and just keep adding on to it. I was very like tunnel visioned. Now I've designed a lot of the code and a lot of the background to just like if I want to make or I want to add on to it or if I want to increase the number of a certain thing, it's super easy. It's super modular. I could just like take a piece of it, move it somewhere else, like in the logic flow, and it, for the most part, works pretty consistently. Not all. Oh, what? That's kind of creepy in its own way. Oh no, I lost it. Oh. Okay. You got a Wii with a bunch of pirated games on it? Don't tell Nintendo. They'll send someone. Okay, what is this? Oh, okay. Hey, Kevin, good to see you, man. It's going pretty good. How about you? I always got to be careful with some of these settings. Because in Blender, there will just be like a destroy your GPU button. And I've pressed that button multiple times on stream. Yeah, this is an add-on. It's called Sapling Tree Gen. I know nothing about it besides I wanted to make a tree, and I figured there must be some built-in add-on, and there was, and not a lot of people talk about it. I knew that there was an add-on for like rock and mountain generation, so I just kind of assumed and hoped that there was one for trees, and here we are. I mean, oh, here we go. I'm sure there are drawbacks to it. And if anyone's just joining in, I'm trying to make something that looks like this guy down here. Let me set the hardness higher and then the size smaller. Too small. Something like this little shrub down there. So very low to the ground. So something like if this is the pot, like this base, I'm imagining just something like this. So not super tall vertically. I guess tall and vertical are just the same thing. I didn't need to emphasize that. The issue, though, is now these are just kind of bending down. You aren't going to spend hundreds of dollars on asset packs. I think, I mean, obviously, I know you're joking. Asset packs aren't a bad thing, especially if you're using free stuff. Um, I think it's an easy way for people who want to design games to get right into like the fun parts of it, and then they can explore from there. But for me, I like making a lot of my own stuff now because the art style is consistent, and I can do like if I want to customize something to look a very specific way, I can do that, even if it does look a little bit scuffed. Um, Not a lot of people successfully build games, to be fair. Yeah, true. Especially those that need these kinds of trees. With the trees infecting you, I was open. I was opening a sound mixing software for my game, and I opened a Blender. Yeah, that happens. That's happened to me. What setting did I change that did the? Ooh, not that one. It's like kind of alive too. It's weird, like moving it around like this. There's you can like bake animations into this. That's a setting that I don't need, but it sounds cool. Outward attraction. Oh, I thought that was gonna be it. I thought like outward attraction is like, oh, it changes how outward it's attracted to. That was not the case. Okay. See this. Okay, if this was a little bit shorter on the top and a little less droopy, this is pretty close to what I want. No, I don't like that. Don't like how that looks at all. Maybe the droopiness is a setting on a different page. Branch mode. What does that mean? Curve resolution. Whoa. Oh no. I found the GPU kill button. All right, don't play with that one. Um Okay, so maybe it's like branch length then. If I adjust the branch length, that might be what I want. It might not be here. Oh, here we go. Branch growth. Um that's not awful. Oh, length. That is that's not what I was hoping it would do. That's not. No, I hit undo. But undo just kills the whole thing. Okay. Recreate our steps. We went to branch radius first. I don't know if this were splitting. I think we did splitting. Like I'm pretty sure it was. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think we did this to bring it closer to the ground. I so instinctively use Control Z. I just need to not do that here. The tree moves like creatures in Australia. Can you move it to edit mode? Um, Not while I'm doing this, I think. Because if I click off of this, it stops the add setting. Well, I might be able to add this in edit mode, but I don't particularly need to edit the faces. Oh. Okay. That's right. Outward attraction did nothing. This does nothing. This does nothing. Oh. This does nothing helpful. Um. This doesn't do anything helpful either. Well, third ad in half an hour. Look, I'm nothing but I was gonna say consistent. I guess redundant. Okay. So I think it was something kind of like this, where it's too droopy and also going up too much. Then we went to branch growth. We length. We didn't change length because that's fake, I guess. I don't know what those do. Oh. Welcome back. Oh, okay, so this is how we fix the droopy. Okay. And then what if we do less droop? Um, this is becoming a mess. Okay, maybe something like this. And then I fix some of these other things. You could use this for a lot of things besides trees. Yeah. Better developers than me could. Okay, so that fixes the curliness. Which one brings it back up? Okay, okay. If we do this, but then you still just kind of have a lot going on. Let's move on. Pruning. I don't know what this means. Oh. Oh, okay. So I can set like a bounding box? Is that what this is? So if I set prune height, is that a thing I can do? Yes. I want this angle to I want this to come in. How do I do that? Oh, I almost had it. Okay. We'll go to leaves in a sec. Let's see if we can clean up some of this. Because it's a little too out this way. Having less branches is honestly probably the move. Does that still look good with the leaves on it? No, we'd probably want a little bit more than that. I feel like I'll be okay with keeping the leaves on as I build this, as I immediately am not okay. It's still, it's like, it wants to go to the left too much. Alright, let's turn leaves off. Like, I'm getting closer. I feel like it's an angle that I have somewhere that's doing this. Because it's like curling that way. Curve resolution. That's closer? No, not really. There's definitely some setting that's telling it to go this way, and I don't know what I did to do that. I think one of these was the kill GPU button, so I'm trying to be careful with that. Um, None of these. None of those. No, that's not what's causing it to go that way. Okay, that's a little closer. That's a little closer. Doesn't exactly fix the issue. Which means it might be on like branch growth where it's causing a problem. I don't think it'd be length. Maybe it's angle? Or curve? Not really. Back curvature? Oh, there it goes. Okay. So if we like put most of these closer to 0. This guy's hanging a little too low. And it's kind of going this way. Okay. That guy's a little too long, but that's fine. It might be easier to model it myself. Look. If I modeled it myself, how would I get these beautiful shapes? Oh. Oh, I think we're cooking. Now we just prune a little bit more. Okay, maybe don't do that. Nah? Yeah. Alright, what kind of leaves do we want? Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate all these. Envelope. Okay, thanks. Thanks for giving me the option. Oh, okay. No, let's not do that. Can we change the leaf size, maybe? Is this shape? Oh no, that's distribution. Leaf scale. Oh. Okay. Wait. To the whole leaf on the X. I don't think I'm gonna make my what deadline are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking. I never gave a deadline. Honestly, guys, I think this is looking pretty solid. Not gonna lie to you. I think I found my new passion. I should start gardening. Clearly, it's gonna be the same, right? If you if this ever sees the light of day, you can look at it and when you play the game, if you play the game, and you can be like, I was there when we, for 51 minutes and 19 seconds, made a nice looking bush. Okay, armature. Uh, oh. Well, I hope I didn't need the rest of those settings, because that just undid it. cool. We did it. Plant obtained. What happens if I... Okay, that's just... That was only for the plant making process. Can you have a name on the leaf? How many how many verts is that? It's only 8,000. That's not a lot though, I think. You need to claim your spot. Okay, no, get this. Most of it, what is this menu? What? Man, I really wish you didn't kick me out of that, that creation menu, because I would have liked to have kept modifying it. You know what? We learned something though. Don't try to add the armature to it because it kicks you out. Okay, apparently this is still just a curve. I have to like convert this to a mesh somehow, which I've done before. I just gotta remember how to do it. Convert, mesh. Nice, okay. Are most of the UVs? No, that's actually pretty well optimized. Okay, we're going to add a decimate modifier. Decimate? Yeah, I said that right. To this. Set this to a clean 50%. Boom, half the vertices gone. You know what, let's do it again. 0.25. We can do it even more. 0.1. What does unsubdivide look like? It's a little messier. How about planar? Nope, I think collapse is our best bet. What about 0.05? How much can we... okay, 0.05 is not it. 0.75. Oops, 0.075. I mean, I've seen some trees that look like this. Just don't look at the stems and it looks good. $2,000 vertices for a plant. I don't think that's bad. Is that just me? Let's ask Google. An Unreal Engine is, I have caps lock on, is 2,000, you know what? 1,500 faces. I feel like that's a better estimate. Faces too many for a tree. 1,500 faces is actually very low for a tree. In most modern games, detailed trees range anywhere between 5,000 to 30 plus thousand polygons. I think we're doing good. I think you're afraid to release something? No. Honestly, now this has emboldened me to go back to 0.15. So, what we're going to do now, wind sway. I don't know what this is. I don't think I need it. We'll get rid of it. It's probably not important. We can always make this again. I recorded the numbers on screen, so I can just come back if I want to make another one. Okay. We are going to take this into edit mode. We're going to unwrap Smart UV project. Another thing that I want to do is I want to make a new material for this. And it's taking its time. The 1500 leaves it didn't have an issue with. Me trying to make a new material though, that's asking for too much. Tree. Assign. Leaves. Assign. Merge. Now look at this clean UV map. 1 million vertices screw. Huh? I don't know what that means. Speaking in tongues. Okay. Now we export this. Edit. No. Oh, I should probably save this. I don't know where I should save this to. Oh, the Unreal Engine 5 folder probably makes the most sense. Content, prototyping, meshes, make a new folder, call this foliage, call this short shrub, call this short shrub _1.blend, and then we export as FBX, same location, use my Unreal Engine mesh preset, which is just mesh only, and then geometry smoothing face, so that it doesn't give me the error. Then export. Okay. Now if we go into Unreal Engine 5, it will notice that it's here. If we go back, has nearly I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure that's fine. We don't really need those. You know, we'll do it next to this light here. Foliage, short shrub, boom. It's missing its little potted plant thing, but that's fine for now. It's also too big, but we can just do that. Still a little big. Like 0.4. There we go. So now we have to give it some texture. Call it nice bush. That's a good one. It is a bush, and it is nice. Actually, what is a bush? Like where do you draw the line between shrub, bush, and tree? That's what I want to know. Alright, I'm opening Substance Painter. So entertain yourselves for the next like 30 seconds as I try to find it. Found it. Ha ha ha. There's a translate. It thinks ha 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 is a non-English word. There's like a little translation icon showing up next to it. I don't know what that means. Um, file. Do level prototyping. I'm also trying to get better with how I'm managing my files here. So one of the first things I want to do is go to Bake Mesh Maps here under ID. I think material color is how I want to do this. So if I go back to paint and I add, I don't know if they have any like leaf, autumn leaves? Not quite. I think this is more of a decal than anything. Leaf. Let's start with the wood. I think that might be better. Wood. Did it only apply to the... Oh, that's smart. I didn't know it did that. There's probably a better wood, though. All of this is, like, not tree wood. Okay. We might just have to find something that looks kind of leafy. Ooh, there go my frames. That's a little bit better. Probably not the camo. This could be like an offline adventure, like me trying to figure out what the best way to make leaf texture is and like apply it to the actual map manually. But for today, I just kind of want to get something that looks okay. Marble? Hold on. We bump this back up to 2000. And we change this. To not be so shiny. Don't know how I feel about that. For the whole game, I feel like it would take a while. Is Marathon any good? I've heard mixed things. Can I change the vein color? It's a pretty good tree for an add-on. Yeah. It's also like partially skill issue too, though, right? Like if I learned how to do it a little bit better, it would probably look cleaner. Um, I don't know if this is just like a filter. It's like I can change the color of it, but I can't make it like dark. Is that the contrast luminosity maybe? I don't know how I feel about using this as the base. How does the camo look? Okay, camo's a little too off. Still has lower player count though. Most people who have played it for more than 5 hours seem to love it. I feel like it's not so much the game, it's that it's just not catching people's attention, which isn't an easy thing to do. Okay, Jade actually doesn't seem too bad. The issue is like I'm not because I'm just very quickly throwing this on the mesh like this. I'm not actually getting like the veins of the leaves on this. And there might be some way I could procedurally do that. Um but I'm just trying to get like a rough idea here and now or about how this is going to look. That's actually not too bad. It's a little too shiny because this is the jade. If I bump up the roughness. Maybe make it a bit more color. See, like this veins thing. There's probably something I could do with this veins that'll like apply it evenly across the leaves. Clouded colors. Make this more green. And let's kind of blend. What options do I have for the veins? I don't have a whole lot. At least not a whole lot that I know how to use. Let's just change the color. Okay. We'll try that. We'll see how that looks in engine. We'll also bump this back up to the 2048. Ooh. I'm not the biggest fan of how that looks together now that they're side by side like that. Let's... Who was that? Wait. Oh, they're separate. Ooh. Okay. If you're on YouTube, it's probably going to delay even more. I'm sorry about that. If you're on Twitch, it'll probably recover itself. Twitch is a little bit better with Substance Painter. So you'll have to handle this for the next minute or so as I try to save this file. Short shrub 1.spp. You liked the olive green. We can go back to it in a sec. I just felt the darker colors kind of hide the some of the scuff that it's got on there. I use OBS, but I dual stream with like a plugin for OBS, which I don't think allocates resources evenly, and yeah, it's probably my fault. There's probably a way I could bump it up a bit more. But I also just think it's YouTube too, because Twitch recovers, but YouTube never seems to. Okay. I exported, I saved, I'm going to close Substance Painter. That's hopefully going to give me some juice back. Okay. So now I've got to grab a default material, which I'll just grab. This guy. Shrub base. Shrub leaves. I also need to do this. You won't be able to see it while I do this though, but I think we'll be okay. Leaf base. Leaves normal. Leaves ORM. And then tree base, tree normal, tree ORM. This is gonna look kind of weird, I think, until I toy around with this a bit more. Actually, gonna get some sleep. Good luck with your bushes, shrubs, and trees. Thank you. A bush is a type of shrub, and a tree is a type of bush. I like that. It's in Game Design channel now. I've been ignoring Twitch for so long. I'm sorry. Let me see. Oh. A 1,000,000 polygon screw. Nice. Let me show this. Of course it doesn't want to show. Look at that. For some reason, YouTube just recommended me Rat clenches fist of. I don't. What? I'm sorry to hear that. Unless it's good. In which case, I'm happy for you. Let's see how this looks. Full screen. Let's add a light source. I'll be honest with y'all, it doesn't look fantastic. It's better than something I could make without the plugin. Likely I'm gonna have to toy around with this a little bit. Also, I am on the lowest scalability. What happens if I bump this up? Epic. Oh, the shadows. Actually, hold on. Shadows might help. It hides a bit of the scuff. Okay, if we go back and let's say we have like a big old fancy point light. Something like that. I think if you walk, it would be good with a pot. I agree. We can make the pot next because that's pretty simple. We can add a dirt texture to it. Because I'm surprised it's only 120. Usually this is the type of side quest that takes 2.5 hours. So I'm proud of all of us. We did it. But like if you are walking past this and like you aren't drawing it, if me as the game designer am not drawing attention to the plant, if the plant isn't relevant to the gameplay, it's just there, I feel like you would walk past that and say, yeah, that's a plant. That's what a plant looks like. Now, look, I may not actually see plants all that often. I don't leave my house. But I would assume that's probably what a plant looks like. So let's go back in Blender. We're going to make a pot. It's going to be a very complicated process, though. Be prepared. Add mesh sphere. Boo. Ooh. Okay, should it have sharp edges or should it be circular? I think making it bushier and tighter in the middle. Yeah, I agree. Like an upside down cone. Then put it in the pot. Well, the pot we can do pretty quickly to see how much of a improvement that is. After we make the pot, we can go back and we can try to regenerate the tree. I agree that making it bushier would probably make it look better. Again, let me pull up the reference image I had. This guy. Him. The leaves are also longer, I'm noticing. Last time I didn't get to modify the leaves too much because I accidentally closed the editor that let me change it. So We can have a few different designs for plant. Sharp edges for pot go with your style. That's kind. Yeah, I was about to say I'm gonna go with the sharp edges here. When I shade smooth, if I mark these as sharp, the rest of it will be okay. So let's go ahead and do that now. There we go. You think I can make the plant myself? Or the leaves? Because I don't know. Maybe I could. Because I've used the curve tool a few times. Like for this type of plant, I probably could because it's kind of just this. Something like this tree. Well, even that wouldn't be too bad. Um, the plant stems would be easy. Yeah, and especially because I don't plan to have too many of them. Like I said, it would probably only be kind of similar to what we see here. It's not the focus of the environment, it's more so just decoration in a much larger room. I think because I wouldn't need a whole bunch of different plants, spending like, a day or so to just make one without the generator might not be a bad idea. It might be good to just flex the Blender skills a bit more too. Have a good night, OMS. Good luck on your game. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. How do I do this? Z. Here we go. Z by 0.1. Trying to figure out if this should have like a lip. Like that, or if it's better just to keep it smooth. I think in the reference image it doesn't have a lip. It's just kind of smooth. With a Royal Navy blue strip. Some gold frilly pattern. I don't know what that adjective is. Also, there's a way to solidify a mesh. I forgot how to do it. Oh. Solidify. Before I do that, I should probably mark this as sharp. Oh. I also realized I didn't actually mark this as sharp, too. When we take this to Substance Painter, you can guide me a little bit more, Nibble, on what you're talking about. Because I agree that it shouldn't just be one solid color, but my sense of design is not particularly good. It's not good. And another thing they do too is this isn't. So we can delete this. and then have it do something like that. And then we want to mark, oops. Mark these as sharp also. And then these two. Okay. Doesn't really need a bottom there. People aren't going to see that anyway. For the dirt on the inside, there are a couple ways I could do that. One of the easier things, and that's not exactly what I was hoping for. Oh, I should apply this. You have a great sense of design. You're just bossing. No, it's fine. Your recommendations are helpful. At the top of the stream, someone also said the same thing about the marble floors being a bit too shiny, so I changed that too. Let me change this face here. Grid fill. Let's see, grid fill? No. Beautify faces? No. Face. Fill. It's not exactly what I was hoping for. How do I do this? I want tries that meet in the center. It's for a game asset. We have the tree itself, which is up here. And I'm making the pot for it. It's meant to be for a horror game. And this is more so just like... The tree itself is not scary. It's more so just like a set piece for a lobby level. So the solution here is to make a vertex point here in the center. I just don't remember how to do that. Like, if I fill this, like the cursor is where I want the vertex point to be. Oh wait, I think I can extrude, right? Extrude. There we go. And then I can do this. There we go. My brain is finally working again. That's what I wanted. Highlight the edges, extrude, but scale it down. Then press Control M and select the collapse. I want to see what that does. So I'm going to make a copy of this, move that to the side, and then come back and then try that. I always like learning new Blender tips. I'm pretty new to the tool. I've been using it for a while, but not like in any good way. So highlight all the edges. Extrude, but scale down. Oh. Then press Control M. Oops. I'm guessing Control M on these edges here. Is it Control M? That's pulling up mirror. Oh, it's just M for me. Hotkeys will be your friend. Then collapse. Oh, look at that. Nice. Thank you. This this shape kind of hurts my brain because it almost looks like the umbrella logo, but it's missing a triangle. And so it looks like it's lopsided when it's actually not, but it still just hurts my head. Okay, my intention here is like this is where the dirt is going to be, and I want to add like a little bit of variation to it. So I kind of want to like bevel this, and I probably should have increased the bevel count. Can I not do it with edges? I guess if I do this, and we'll just do by 0.5 to have a consistent numbering scheme here. I mean, I guess realistically, I don't need to do more than that, especially with Shade Smooth. I should mark this as sharp, though. There we go. Let's bring the plant back in just to see how she look. So realistically, the scale would be a bit different. It would probably be a little bit more like this. Maybe a bit smaller. I don't want to mess up where it's like export origin point is, though. So I'm going to keep it kind of as it is, and then just scale that in Engine. Because I could also reuse that for other plants. Let me move this back up. You could lightly randomize the verts of the center face to get that shading variation. But overall looks good. How do I do what you just said? Lightly randomize the verts. So you're just kind of like manually kind of pulling them and dragging them like this? Or is there like some command or function that does that? This will be covered by your plant. I mean, it's an easy enough detail to implement to where I'm fine spending an extra 5 minutes on it and learning something new. But you're right, you make a fair point. Sometimes I get lost in the details. There's a function called randomize when you select verts or a face. Is it a modifier? No, so no stem or side stems are showing. No stem, just leave coming out. Put plant even lower. We'll do that when we get in the engine. I agree though. My blender is my setup where... Oh, your blender is set up where spacebar is search. Oh, I think mine is too. Oh, no, just kidding. What's the search hotkey? Let me see. Blender default search hotkey. F3. Okay. Randomize. Ooh, okay. I like that. Okay, let's go ahead and export this. Well, first let me save the Blender file, because I don't want to crash on accident. I'm going to make a new... So you guys can't see the export menu right now, but this shouldn't take too long. I'm going to call this pot, large pot. I always have caps lock on accidentally. Large pot. That's just the folder name, and then large pot FBX. Ooh, I need to make sure that I have selected objects only. I think I do by default. Okay, I do. We're good. We're good. We are good. So now in Unreal Engine, it'll it'll prompt me to import this, and I'm gonna say yes. I don't want it to create the material. I also forgot one step, which was to assign 2 different materials to it. Uh-oh. The normals are also inverted. Or at least I need to recalculate outside. Easy fixes though. I needed to get back here anyway. Face orientation. I like keeping that on usually, so that it's easier to notice. The other thing too is you are dirt. Everything else is base. And then to the Blender expert, I know that maybe Smart UV Project, I would assume, has some issues with it, and there's probably a better way to do the UV stuff. But Smart UV Project has always been my friend, and so I like using it. It's helpful. Okay, now I re-export, and then Unreal Engine will tell me that it saw it, and then it will tell me to split it up. Oh yeah, the randomize does look like the lighting on there, the bumpiness. I do like that. Now we open up Substance Painter, which usually eats up a lot of my PC juice. So I'll hope that it doesn't do it this time. New. Open up large pot. me just quickly see. Okay, no, it doesn't do that. If I do something like... I'm just trying to see if the color modifiers work the same way with material rather than filter, add mask with color selection, select color. Okay, no, it considers it all one color. There's a way to do it based on material selection. I forgot how to do that though, so I'm just going to go back into Blender and then just vertex paint it. It depends on the mesh really, but it is fast. I like to use seams for more control. Yeah, when I was watching a couple of intro tutorials, it was going through like the seams stuff. And it wasn't too bad. I was able to do the seam stuff, but for most of the things that I make, it was just kind of a little bit of excess work for slightly less improved visual. And so I just kind of reckless abandon used Smart UV Project. Oh, did I not assign this? Oh, what? Sign. Alt-I. Control-I. Assign. Let me try this again. Let me re-export. Because maybe Substance Painter was doing what I thought it was supposed to. And I just didn't export this correctly. I'll do this real quick. I'm not gonna bring it back up. We keep it on a separate window as I do this. Okay, it does. It does what I was hoping it would do. Nice. So now when I click and drag, it attaches it to this because it counts it as two different materials. A lot of the times I do like having it be one material. But this lets me control the glossiness. So like by splitting them up, because this base part might be like smooth or a bit shiny, whereas this dirt might be a bit more rough. And so by having only one material, it's a little bit more difficult to get them to look more like their nature. And I know there's a way you can do it with like masks and whatnot, but just kind of splitting up the material is simple enough for me. So I'm going to delete that. Nibble, you still here? You can try to implement what you were talking about with the design of the outside of the pot. Let me see if there's a dirt material they've got. That looks good. Not too bad. The white space I would want to fill with something else. Uh-oh. How do I get more of the dirt, less of the... Or how do I at least make the mask, like, a dark color? Because it's not immediately clear to me who is applying the white part here. I'm assuming it's this? Texture secondary, okay. Micro height. So, I mean, it seems like this material is meant to be layered on top of something else. So if I add the dirt, Make a fill layer and put it under the dirt base. I see. Your messages are coming through slow? Yeah, it's because it's a YouTube thing. When I opened Substance Painter up a little while ago, it like killed the stream. Twitch recovered pretty well, but YouTube didn't. YouTube's still pretty behind. Crazy that you're also good at Substance Painter too, though, Dashy. That's funny. Appreciate the help. Trying to figure out like what shade of brown looks good here. Like that. Okay. Plastic. Adobe bitrate robbery. Yeah, no kidding. It's also like it only happened like within the past 6 months after it updated. Because I bought the Steam version, which you get free updates for a year, and then you just pay one lump sum of money at the beginning. And it was fine with OBS for the longest time. And then they updated to add some kind of crap, and now it runs like crap. You try to help where you can. I appreciate you. Your help has not gone unnoticed. Okay. Let me scroll up, Nibble, and see what it is that you had said. Since there's okay. A paw would look good with a white and a navy blue strip. So let's start with that. What material do you think? So let's pop up that reference image. Again, we don't need to copy it directly. Here it looks pretty glossy. Looks to be maybe some kind of either plastic thing or maybe some type of stone or plastic that's meant to look like stone. Like acrylic, I think might be the better word here. Like the actual product. I think it's because of the server security constantly scanning your Steam key for a valid license. I wonder, would I be able to use this offline? If that's the case. Gloss ceramic is probably what that reference is. Is there a ceramic base material? There's this. What is this? What's this called? Show me the full name. What is this? Plastic thermoformed? I don't know what that means. That's actually... That's not too bad. So, like, the actual color, per the reference, is more like this. With a little bit more, not noise, but more like, I don't know how you would describe that. Kind of like the rocky pieces amongst it. I mean, this isn't the highest quality image, obviously. But you can tell there's like something else going on besides just that one solid color. But it's subtle enough to not be a huge thing. I could probably add some kind of modifier to this too. You can if you block the server outgoing with your firewall to stop the first pop-up. Huh. I feel like this looks a little too metallic. I mean, as I would assume, it's metal. Creature skin alien blue. Alright. What kind of stone we got? Sapphire. Ooh. That might be cooking. Did that. And then she recommended like a design of like a blue stripe to add some like additional detail. So when it comes to the textures and the alpha, like all of anything that isn't one of these two categories, I'm just at a loss. I've watched a couple tutorials on how to like make a tile pattern out of this. That's how I did the floor tile and the engine. So, yeah, go ahead and import. I don't know what changed. Oh, that did. It's like, oh no, that might have been a mistake. It's like, that's how I got like the normals to kind of cut this up. But I don't know too much more beyond that. That might also hurt the stream lag a bit. So if I do like in this, what is this called? Alpha. A minus sign. Ooh. Alright, not base color. Mask? Okay. Okay. Problem number one. How do I make this less scuffed? Is there a details panel that... Oh, there you are. To answer your question, it's a fancy mansion, not a mall, so yes, glossy ceramic. I don't know if there's a way. I can get this to stretch all the way across. It'd be a circle. Also, parameters. I want to find out if there's a way I can, like... Here we go. 3D projection settings, rotation. That's 0? Oh no, it's all kinds of cooked. Basti! Hello. I would have to, I think, keep this as a mask, but as a mask on something else. Or, like, not something else, but the gold specifically. Let's, because we're getting closer to where I usually wrap up. Let's see just how this looks. Like, slap this in the engine. Also, where is the... Okay. I was trying to see where a lot of that whiter color was coming from. We'll just make it look kind of like that image, the reference. Not exactly, but like this. I'm happy with this. I don't exactly remember the Hockey for Global Transforms for Mask. Sorry, you're a bit useless. No, you've been more than helpful all night. Americans are plenty normal, I'll have you know. That's a funny looking tree. Hey, it's the pot that the tree goes into. Google gold filigree, navy blue white pot design. It's a very specific thing. It's a very specific thing. I'll keep this bookmarked, and then I'll come back to it. Ooh. I see. I might have to come back to that. That's a weird looking... Why is everybody... Can you not tell that this is a teacup? And where do you have tea? Next to trees. Checkmate. Tree goes inside a pot. Yeah. Clearly, what I'm learning tonight is that none of you are botanists. It's kind of a shame, actually. Large pot.spp. I'm just saving the Substance Painter file before I export the textures. Is Nibbler right? Yeah, she's on Twitch because there's a pretty big delay on YouTube because of some Substance Painter tomfoolery. A teacup with no handle? Is a teacup still a teacup without a handle? I think so. I think you could make the argument. And if not, then what would it be? If not a teacup. Okay. Textures exported. Now we go into Unreal Engine. Import, please. Thank you. Let's go ahead and grab this base material. And then rename this to large pot. And then large pot dirt. Thingy's gonna get burnt. No, the tea is the teacup is like made out of what doesn't conduct heat? Something that doesn't conduct heat or melt. Yeah, one of those. Styrofoam there. Styrofoam teacup. Let's Google that and see what shows up. Styrofoam teacup. Oh. They all have handles. Handleless. They've got ceramic teacups with no handles. Oh no. Hold on, let me make sure before I show this, let me make sure there's nothing else on this image that could get me in trouble. Okay. Styrofoam or ceramic teacups, no handle, Chinese, kung fu teacups. Japanese. They're just they're trying to hit all the tags they can. They really want to sell those teacups. Hey, Raph, good to see you. Welcome. Uranium glass would be perfect. Okay. Let's add, this is the large pot base. Boop, boop, and boop. And now we do dirt. And now we do this. I did that backwards. This. We could probably make the dirt a bit darker. That's not the darker button. Brightness. Yeah. Yeah. Might want to, let's see, I'm going to drop the scale of this guy by maybe too much, 0.75. Hydrogen peroxide cups. What's the most lethal thing you can make a cup out of that would still get past the FDA? Like, they would still look at it and be like, yeah, I guess. Okay. I still, like, the tree itself, I'm not the biggest fan of. The pot, I think, is kind of clean. Like, this is serviceable, mind you. Like, I don't hate this. Oh, Twitch, you're about to get sent into the ad dimension. I'm sorry, I can't stop it. Uranium. Potassium chloride teacups. Okay. I do like this. If I get rid of this, what's the lighting look like? It might even look better. The pot definitely helped. Uh-oh. I pushed the bad button. Okay, we're back. Like, if I was a dude playing a game and I see that pot, I'm gonna close Substance Painter because it is killing my stuff. I would look at that and I would say, you know what? I think that's a pot. That's a pot with a plant in it. Yep, unequivocally. No doubt about it. That's a pot of plant. And at the end of the day, do we need more than that? I would say no. I could definitely fix the detail on the leaves a bit. Like, there's probably a way to procedurally get the veins to line up per leaf in Substance Painter. I wouldn't know how to do that. I would have to look that up. It's a great design. Thank you. I don't know if that was sarcasm. I'm going to assume that it's not and accept the compliment. So thank you. What color are my shoes? Like black. Just so that when they get dirt on them, inevitably, I don't have to deal with it as much. Potted shrub, it works, it looks good, yes. Now, I'm gonna very quickly try to play around with this a bit more. Just to see if I could do a better job. So you can do animations with this. I think a lot of it came down to pruning. And where's my pruning thing? Where'd it go? Oh, to turn it on. Pruning. Too much. Too much. I want to just pull it down. Like, I want this to go down. It's width. Base. So that's the opposite of what I want. Peak. No. There we go. Prune way back. I just want to roughly get to where I was last time. So that I could see how the tree generation looks. Or the, not tree, the leaf generation. I want to see if I could just make the leaves longer. Just so the stems curve. I don't know what you mean by prune way back. Like pull this back a bit more? Oh man, I feel like that delay is killing the commentary on the YouTubes. This is close, it's just curving too much. No tiny little simple ones. Yes, like a funnel shape. Okay, so it looks like I accidentally got it to where I wanted it to go. This is pretty close. I just want these to not bend like that. Oh, it's mean. I feel like plants are a fun thing to care for. I've got a snake plant, and that thing just refuses to die. Not that I'm upset that it isn't dead. Without leaves, it does look like the swampy trees that you'd see. Yeah, like, this tool is pretty cool. There was a recommendation earlier that I should try to make my own tree without this tool. And it's not that I completely disagree, because this is like, I don't know, like, I'm spending a lot of time trying to, like, mess around with this to get it just right. But it's fun to play around with, and it's easy to, like, quickly try things out. I feel like if I understood what these little knobs actually did. Wait, is it this curvature one? Okay. Might be it. Oh, wait. So that makes it less droop, but then it's still too tall that way. I feel like this is how Kane Pixels made his enemy. Looks like his monster design a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's looking cleaner. I definitely have too many. That's what I'm looking at. There we go. Now maybe adjust the angle a tad bit more. And then, like Nibble was saying, kind of have the stems curl upward a little bit for the leaves. Kind of same using ant landscapes for terrain generation, but love getting otherworldly shapes out of it. I have a generation or landscape generation plugin. I don't know if that's AMP though. It was whatever the free one was. Wrong. I'll send a pic. Thank you. Okay, while she's doing that. Leaf. So we have hexagonal, which is kind of what we're seeing here. Then we have scale. Oh, too much. I want long leaf. I want long big leaf. Okay, a little too big. Unless I drop the number of them. They also don't curve like I would hope that leaves did. Unless it's the distribution wouldn't affect the angle. Because the angle only affects like the angle of the base, not the actual leaf itself. All right, let me go check the Discord and see if I got sent something. 500 cigarettes. All right, nothing yet. Don't be weird. What is this? Is that my... Is that my pot? Can I make my own leaf design? This is probably how it could make flowers. I don't know how it decided to use the pot mesh for my leaf. You could make some trippy stuff with that, though. How did I do that? Dupla faces. And then this is the object. The tree will grow pots. Rather than the pot holding the tree holds pots. Okay, I mean, that seems like the ultimate solution then. Is just to make my own leaf design. And then slap that in here. Because, let me go back to the reference image. Like, these leaves are definitely, like, longer and thinner. And a lot more droopy. Especially these ones. Like, these leaves are kind of similar to these ones. With the exception that these ones are longer and obviously smaller. Well, the pot doesn't fall far from the tree. I think you're onto something. Okay, well, what did we learn today? We learned how to make trees. We learned how to make pots. We learned how to texture them, kind of. You know what? That's a good question. Dashi, while I've got you here, if your task was to texture the leaves in a way that didn't look like garbage, how would you go about that? I went into Substance Painter and then like threw something greenish on them. I think I threw the jade material and then I made it a bit darker and less shiny so it didn't look like stone leaves. My assumption was that like maybe there's some procedural vein tool that I could add that could maybe figure out where the leaves are, and then like apply the veins somewhat correctly, or maybe just have to do that manually, like paint the veins on and then apply a mask to it. You'd use a plane and make a simple leaf shader with 3 or 4 different leaves in the collection. Okay, yeah. That would make sense. That would make more sense. And so that would be in engine itself. And so you would like use the rectangular one. Or I guess in my case, I could probably, if I'm understanding this right, the shader would be in the engine that has the actual leaf on it. But here in Blender, I could make these rectangles curve, so it could still get the curved leaves on them. In Blender, you can do it. Okay, but does that carry over easily into Unreal Engine? You can use a single texture with multiple leaf shapes with an alpha channel. I'm always scared to go into this tab. This tab scares me. If it's not rigged, yeah, you can apply the mesh. Okay. Oh, I see. So like I do the work, I do the shader work here in Blender, and then I apply it, and then export that. And then it would export it as like a material that would be applied in Engine, and not just like, because that wouldn't be written to the FBX itself, right? Unless FBXs can hold material data, pretty much. I'm guessing that was to the previous comment about apply it here and then export it. Dashy's very helpful all night. Shout out Dashy. Dashy, do you have any games that you worked on that you want to plug to the 5 people here? Self-advertise. You can create a texture with a leaf design as well as alphas, and you can use the plane for a UV map, and it should carry over as the material when you export it. Got you. Well, that got you is almost like an autopilot response. I know that when I import the mesh, it gives me the option to import materials too. So I would create a texture with the leaf design as well as the alphas, and you can use the plane for a UV map, and it should carry over. I see. Okay. That does make sense to me. I would assume that this is a somewhat standard thing. I could probably try looking up that process and find some more in-depth info and examples on it. The games I did work on before are pretty much dead. Used to do Roblox work for skyboxes as well as car models. Currently, I'm making renders for a card game that is being reworked for modern balancing. That's cool. Leaves Reddit, starts following Dashy. Well, that's sick. I started pretty much instantly in Unreal Engine to try to make a horror game. Well, it started off as like an RPG, and then I'm like, oh, this is too much. This is too big of a scope. So I scaled it back. But like in university, I did like the game dev classes with Unity, and Unity is fine. I just I got into using C++ a bit more, and then at that time Unreal Engine was kind of the champion of indie games. It still kind of is. And then I've been working on that one game for about like, it started in 2024, so like 2.5 years. I haven't made I've made a lot of progress, but not a lot of visible progress, because a lot of it was learning and going back and redoing things with the new knowledge I got over time. It's good optimization practicing when it comes to foliage assets. A good reference point is old source assets. Oh, like Source Engine, like Half-Life? Yeah, everything up until this point, like with architecture and Blender, I've been doing pretty okay in. Architecture has been pretty simple, so it hasn't been too intimidating. Like a good example are, let's go back to Unreal Engine. Like a lot of this work I did, so like I modeled these in Blender and then exported to Substance Painter to get the designs on them. And then prior to this, last Halloween, I was working on this one. If I could pull this up simply enough. And one of the things I learned from this one is that I need to be very, very careful about making the sizes consistent and modular, because one of the issues I ran into with my designs, especially like if I go back in one of these corners, like I didn't space things out correctly, and so I just did a lot of like weird stretching. I didn't really have any kind of discipline when it came to looping textures, but like the actual shapes itself, I was happy with. Also, I mean, there might be newer people here, and I brought this up at the beginning. Um, just kind of like a weird observation that I think is fun, and maybe I'll have input on this too. And we'll use this light here as an example. So a lot of horror games that I see, a lot of the ones that I like too, mind you, make no mistake, go for a like old, almost N64 PS1 type vibe, making it look like an older hardware. I think Fears to Fathom is a good example. Those games are awesome. They look good, and they kind of have this old, like artistic appeal to them. I feel like a lot of developers do that with either shaders or filters in Unreal Engine, if that's the engine they're using. So right now, this is the lowest setting that I can set Unreal Engine 5 to. So engine scalability, it's all set to low. And it still looks okay, right? So I could set it to low and then maybe apply um, some filter on it to make it look more archaic. One thing I noticed when I was using Unreal Engine 4, and I was using it for a feature that's exclusive to Unreal Engine 4 a while ago, which is the HTML5 build target. That's a story in and of itself. But I noticed that because UE4 is a bit more primitive, the engine struggles a little bit more on the low setting, and it natively looks a bit better like as an old game when you set it on its lowest setting. It might be kind of hard to tell from the stream because the stream is always going to automatically try to smooth the rough edges a bit. But like, especially here, if you can see my cursor, like this part of the wall and then like the curvature here, even like some of the parts of the lamp, I feel like it looks more authentically like an old game. And Unreal Engine 4 is great. A lot of what you can do in Unreal Engine 5, you can also do in Unreal Engine 4. Not everything, mind you. So, anyway, the point I'm trying to be is that if anyone here is absolutely trying to make a game for the first time, they want to look old, maybe look into this, Unreal Engine 4. There might be a way in Unreal Engine 5 to like add a filter that does the same thing, or maybe you can just like force the settings to go even lower than what you can set it to in the editor. I don't know. Again, this is like surface level. I was looking at it and I noticed this, but I think the look of the engine natively struggling to generate that image on the lowest scalability is, I don't know. I don't know the right way to word it. A bit more authentic. Anyway, just thought I would point that out. I kind of hate that vibe. It's so overdone. Yeah, I can understand that. I think the more you see something, the more opposed to it you are. Like, I feel like that's how a lot of newer generations are probably going to see Fortnite. That's kind of how I see it too. It's like, yeah, it's it's cool. Not particularly my thing, but now because people see it all the time, they can't really ignore it. They just kind of go from not caring for it to hating it. But I still like the old look of things. I grew up in like the N64 era, so like that is what I was used to. And I like Resident Evil 2 1998. The monster designs being primitive kind of add a bit more to it in some cases because I don't know, like it's either uncanny or maybe your imagination fills the gaps, and sometimes your imagination can do a better job than like high-end graphics, or at least as high-end as an indie dev might be able to achieve. I think Requiem's monsters knocked it out of the park, especially the girl Mari. Catch up. I mostly use Substance for game assets in film work, but for basic, just fun renders, I like to procedurally generate materials within Blender itself. I might want to look into doing that then. Well, you said substance for game assets. I guess it would depend on what the asset was. That might kind of like be better workflow to do in Blender. Low res alias is a good trick to get that sort of illusion. There's a way to get an overlay to do it. I don't know how though. Yeah. Like I said, I'm sure there's like a very effective and easy way to get it to look near authentic, if not fully authentic. Especially for how popular that trope is. I'm sure it's been streamlined. I'm sure it's probably even a free asset pack you can get off Fab. But I was just something I noticed. Have you heard of this really shitty game called Last Tree? He made a game to sell, and he did. His theory is that people like things they already know, so what he did with the design. Where are the pots? Also, Ori isn't Ori about a tree. A lot of tree talk. I don't know if you guys know this, but trees occur pretty often. I feel like it's not a rare occurrence. Milk on cereal if it's soggy or crunchy. You got to eat it when it's crunchy. If you let it get soggy, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The crunch is like, it's part of it. If you're gonna let it get soggy, just get oatmeal, because that's designed to be like that. You eat cereal dry, also respectable. Like, dry cereal, I don't think I would sit down on a Sunday morning and eat dry cereal at a table with coffee. But you know what? You can just snack on it. I can just snack on some dry cereal. Soggy cereal is so good. Oh, eat oatmeal. Just eat oatmeal. It's better. Probably better for you too. I don't know what's in cereal now. Just had a great game idea. It's going to be like Cookie Clicker, but instead of clicking a cookie, you are unboxing crates, but you get trees out of these crates and different variations of these trees. Instant million. And then I drink milk. I drink milk with my coffee, which is why I don't know, just like eat cereal as much. I mean, there's plenty of other reasons. It's just there's better breakfast foods out there. But I feel like it's an overdose of milk if you have like cereal with milk and coffee with milk in it. Let me look up The Last Tree. I think that was the game Noble mentioned. The Last Tree. $1.99. Oh, it's a platformer. Also, this was the plugin I was using to generate the tree stuff, if any of you guys wanted to try it. It's already built into the engine, but I've heard people say that if you're running Blender 5 point anything, it just isn't good. I'm using 4.4. Incidentally, I didn't actively choose it. I just happened to be using that version, and it worked fine. Also, put some coffee powder and milk inside your mouth. That's awful. Men that like chocolate milk have mommy issues. Where did that come from? Why'd you have to insult chalky milk enjoyers like that? Not that game. It's a Fox one? You're telling me there are multiple The Last Trees, or did I get the name wrong? No, there are multiple The Last Trees. That doesn't look like a fox either. Are you telling me there are 3 Last Trees? and it's neither of the ones I happen to pull up. I'm a vanilla fan. Vanilla is good. Probably won't work for me then. I'm using Blender 5. I've got like 4 different versions of Blender, and I don't know. I'm afraid to remove it in case I need to use one of them. Not that I can't install it again later on if I have to. Because people like foxes, the guy who made it. I mean, people like grapes. You don't see me making a game about grapes. I like how this extension does not require special permission. What does that mean? Are you telling me are you telling me there are some add-ons that do? To use this add-on, sign into your cryptocurrency account and provide your social security number. Okay, I think that about does it. We got a good amount of work in, we got a good amount of yap in. I typically stream. That's the wrong screen. There we go. I'm usually live for about 2 hours, Mondays and Wednesday, 7 PT, and then usually also on Saturday, 11 a.m. PT. Although this Saturday I will not be live. Daisy, the little robot who's been spamming in chat all night, has been sending the link to the Discord. Inside the Discord is just the schedule tab. Oh, you sent the image. Finally, hold on. Nice. Like it's a fire react. It updates to your local time zone. So if you happen to be in there, that's an easy way to see when I'm live. Or just follow the streamer channel if you want to join next time. And then if you happen to be looking for something to be watching, and I happen to be live, I'll probably get recommended to you. At least stream until 3 a.m. Brother, I start work at like 5. It's 9:41. That's late. It's past my bedtime. No, it's the first tree? Okay, hold on. We gotta look this up. I can't... We've looked at 3 tree games and none of them were the right one. We can't end the night unless we find the first tree. Here it is. I see a fox. I see a fox. Honestly, this looks like a vibe. I wish that was me. Oh, look at... He double jumps. You know what? I bet that fox doesn't have to pay taxes. He's living a better life. Good for him. Good for him. I keep doing the wrong one. I have 2.7b installed. Oh, is that a version? 7.b or 2.7b for importing assets from PSX and the Wii. Oh, that sounds cool. Dang the disc. It's the worst game, but interesting story? Was that fox running on water? Oh, what? You don't know how to do that? I thought that was just... Huh. It's called surface tension. It's like when you skip a stone. You see, what you don't know is foxes actually don't have feet. They're just 4 skipping stones that are connected to them by thick fur. And that's how they move so quickly. Interesting story of how the game was made. Well, it's got mostly positive views or reviews. So it's probably like a Journey type game. Goodbye, your YouTube broke. Yeah, it does that. Imagine he sent the wrong game. Dang. Yeah, these foxes, they're crazy. I wonder what they say. Shout out to that one meme from like 2012. When did that song come out? What does the Fox say release date? 2013. Oh, I'm old. Oh, I'm old. I'm old. All right. I will see you next time. I'll likely be live is probably next Monday, same time, 7 PT, and then likely well, we'll see. Again, the ideal is Monday, Wednesday, 7 PT. But if you just happen to be following, that's probably going to be the best way. What does the Fox say as your outro? Yeah, that's the easiest way to get my channel taken down. YouTube's copyright system is no joke. All right, to each and every one of you, enjoy the rest of your week. Do some cool stuff. Enjoy your weekend if I don't hear from you. And Dash, yeah, again, thank you for all the help tonight. I appreciate it. MVP. And if this is the first and last time I happen to see any of you, well, thank you for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you had a good night. All right, get some sleep, unless it's morning, in which case, wake up. Okay, goodbye.